Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dan, and I got Janelle Cow, better known as Freya Fox, here with me. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Hey, thanks again for spending some time with me, and we got connected through the Asian Hustle Network Facebook group, and it's been kind of crazy how that group has grown organically, like in the last 3 months.
Yeah. I got in it at like maybe only a few hundred people, I think, or maybe it was like 1,000 people at the most, like maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah, and I think at the time of this recording, it's at about 30,000 members, and
Yeah.
new people every day. So it's been kind of insane um, how it's grown, and especially organically, right? People will
Yeah.
say, I've been invited by this person, and they do these introductions, and these are just the people that have done the introductions. There are probably many more that have not introduced themselves
Yeah,
to
I
the
think
group.
so too. A lot of people have been shy to introduce themselves, but don't be shy. We don't bite.
Yeah, especially
It's a
to
super chill group and everyone's like trying to help each other and whatever, so it's super cool.
yeah. I don't know exactly. Maybe I think you have reached out to me, but we got to talking, and I was really curious about what you do for business owners, and the verification process, and what it actually means to get verified. But before I get into that, I do want to learn more about your backgrounds, where your upbringing, and your venture into professional gaming, because
Yeah.
I don't meet many professional gamers, and I think I'm probably a little bit older than you, but when I was growing up, that was like, man, if I could be a professional video game player, that would have been my parents' worst nightmare. But tell me a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my parents' worst nightmare too, for sure. Well, I mean, I'm 28, so I'm older than a lot of the people who started in streaming. Because I don't know, a lot of the best professional players right now out there are 18 or 17 years old. So I can't compete with them anymore. It's just physically impossible, mentally impossible. But I still tried my
Mhm.
best. And how I got started, it was really an accident. I had no intentions to have this as a career or even make myself into, this brand, Freya Fox.
Mhm.
It was what, 2017, and I had just come back to the US from living in Taiwan, and I had pretty bad time at the end of my stay there. So I was really depressed, and certain circumstances forced me to come back home and just kind of regroup and stuff. So I moved back in with my parents, and I didn't know what to do with my life. So I was really depressed. I was like, man, what do I do now? I lost everything, and I literally lost everything. So I just figured out maybe I should just start streaming. I don't know why I thought that as my idea, but I was like, I'm lonely. I don't have anyone here because all my friends had moved on and we'd all grown up. And so I needed to find my tribe, so to speak, and that was the lowest hanging fruit. So, and I knew I loved entertaining. I've always been an entertainer. I've been in entertainment for, I don't know, 12, 13 years now. So to do that was kind of like a natural thing. So some people told me, yeah, you should go back on Twitch, because I kind of dabbled in it in 2014, 2015 when it first started out. So I started there, and I found out I was pretty good at it. I got a few thousand followers within the first month or two.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I heard about Facebook Gaming, which was started up in 2018, in the beginning of January, February, and I saw a lot of my favorite Twitch streamers move over there, and I
Mm.
was like, hey, what is this? What's going on? And then I realized I had first mover advantage if I were to try out the platform, because it's brand new. Not an opportunity like that doesn't come around every often nowadays with social media. So I jumped on the Facebook bandwagon, and organic reach was so good at the time that I just blew up. I think in the first month or two, we got 10,000 followers
Wow.
on my page, because I don't remember the exact trajectory of it or the exact metrics, because I started out on my personal profile. I was just
Mhm.
streaming on it to see what would happen, and I started getting like thousands of new like profile followers, and I was like, what is this? So then I started on my Facebook page,
Mhm.
which only had like 100 likes from random people at the start, and that just blew up really, really fast. so much that a certain incident, caused me to have tons of trolls and death threats be sent to me. And that, to me, I thought that was the end of my time streaming. I broke down and I couldn't deal with it. And the next thing I know, Facebook reaches out to me and they're like, hey, we've been watching you for a while, and you just, blew up out of nowhere. We had no idea who you were, but we really would like to work with you. So we want to offer you a contract to stream with us exclusively. And the money was fantastic and I couldn't say no. I mean, who's going to turn down streaming for full time,
Right.
as a job? I know a lot of people might, but to me, for a good contract, a guaranteed salary, it was like, why would I say no to that?
Hmm.
So yeah, they sent it to me, and I didn't think it was real at first. I thought it was fake. It sounds too good to be true. Like, hey, get paid full time to play video games and stream. I'm like, yeah, right. Who does that? Nobody does that, right? Twitch doesn't do that. YouTube doesn't do it. I mean, they do now,
Yeah.
but not at the time. It was unheard of for companies to guarantee their partners
Hmm.
salaries. Um, and then it happened. I can't forget the day I was in my room, and then I told my dad, and I was like screaming. He's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "You just never believe what just happened." And I signed this big contract with Facebook, and they're like, "Is it real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's legit." Their lawyer sent me the contract and all this stuff. It came from their official legal address or whatever. And the rest was history. I had a great year and a half or so with them, um, and now I'm here.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your transition from, professional streaming, and then now you do influencer marketing, helping
Yeah,
businesses getting verified.
yeah, that's it was an interesting and not a planned transition.
Yeah.
I got in 2 car accidents, and that really impacted my ability to compete well, because I was playing Smash Brothers, and I was like spending so many months like training and training to try to win a big tournament or something. But after the first accident happened, well, the first accident happened before the game came out, so I was still playing Fortnite and stuff.
Hmm.
But I was streaming every single day, and that took about 2 or 3, 4 months out of my performance and my ability to do well and stream. And then another one happened last year in October. I mean, yeah, November, and that just really took me out. Um, and I just ever since then I haven't been able to play very well, or even have an interest in playing video games as much as I used to, which is shocking considering I've played video games every single year, every single day for 13, 14, 15 years now.
Hmm.
And now all of a sudden I have no interest. So it sucks. I'm trying to get back into it. So I thought, well, this is maybe a sign from the universe. Maybe it's time to throw in the towel, or at least take a temporary break and try something else.
Hmm.
um, and that's kind of the transition. It was kind of forced. It was more of a, well, I can't support myself doing this anymore, so you better figure out something quick.
Hmm.
And that was the natural progression. It was like, okay, well, what did Tony Hawk do when he couldn't skate anymore? Or what do gamers do when they can't game anymore? Well, they become coaches, or they become consultants, or they help people in marketing, or understanding influencers and things like that. And I had ran a marketing agency for about 10 years before I became a full-time gamer. So
Hmm.
um, just made sense to go back to doing that again. I was like, well, back to my normal hustle or my normal job. Not that it's really that normal, because I can't, I have to, be grateful for the things that I've done. And because of that, I've been able to have the connections and leverage my knowledge to do this.
Yeah, so awesome, awesome. So, like, digital marketing or marketing is kind of just a very broad spectrum, but I know
It
you
is.
kind of carved a nice niche into getting people or businesses verified. So, explain a little bit what it means to get verified, and why would someone want to get verified, or why would a business want to get verified?
Yeah, really good question. A lot of people ask me this every
Yeah.
single day. And the number one reason is credibility,
Mm.
it stands out, right? So if I don't know who's listening and what they've experienced with people DMing them or talking to them online and stuff, but I'm sure if somebody with a blue check mark messaged you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, and they DM'd you or they added you, you'd probably respond to them, or you would at least take notice
Mhm.
because, oh, it's somebody with a check mark. They must be legit. They must be famous. There's that psychology of, this is somebody who's credible if they are eligible for this, because it's still this thing in society where that is one social marker that puts people above others. And like anything, it's a title. It's a sort of way of showing that you're authentic and you're a personality of some sort that is deemed worthy of it. So, and it's not something that you can just get either. You can't go to school for it. You can't get a degree and like, I'm a doctor now. It's
Right.
like, no, you're verified. And so that's the biggest non-tangible advantage, is that sense of credibility from your prospective clients, from
Mhm.
prospective business partners, from anybody really. They do see that as a metric, I think. I know I do. I pay attention if somebody talks to me and they're verified. And I don't mean that in a vain way, but I'm like, okay, who is this person? Genuinely curious. The other thing that's really beneficial for businesses who have verified profiles, whether it's their personal brand or their brand, their business or company,
Mhm.
is on Instagram in specific. They don't filter out the comments, at least at the current time, of people who have verified check marks. So if you look at comment tree, it'll hide a lot of comments, or it'll sort them by different, I don't know what kind of algorithm determines which one shows up at the top, but usually those who have verified accounts, their comment will show up first. So if you're trying to use Instagram, for example, as a lead generation source, and you're trying to comment on people's content and engage with them organically, they will see your comment first. Everybody who looks at it will see your comment first, and they'll be like, "Oh, who's this person? They have a check mark. I've never heard of them. Why is this attorney have a check mark? I don't know." It's like things like that. It's weird, right? Because you wouldn't think of like an attorney or like an author or a doctor to have a check mark, but if they've done a lot of press and they've
Mm.
shown that they're a notable person, they're not just another. And I don't mean it in a negative way, but I mean
Mhm.
just another, professional. It does stand out. You know, so I think those are the two really obvious ones. There's tons of other ones that are not really confirmed. Like people say that their accounts, after they've been verified, they've been able to get more analytics, and I
Mm.
have no way to prove that because I still don't have one. So, I don't have enough press. They've not qualified me yet to get any verification on social media, but I do have it on Google. I have it on Spotify, and I have it on Apple Music. So the big, those are a good starting point for me. I would love to get it on Instagram to test this theory out, because my reach hasn't been so great lately, like most people.
Okay. So if someone wants to come to you and they see the
Mhm.
value of getting verified, tell us a little bit about the process that you go through helping clients getting verified.
Yeah. So, really, the process is quite simple. We have to look at how many articles of press or TV shows or movies or whatever it is that can verify, and that's pun intended,
Mhm.
that they are who they are, and that they are authentic and credible enough to be deemed noteworthy or notable in the eyes of those platforms. Um, I can't really say how we're able to get it done, but I will say that it tends to be, the magic number tends to be between 6 and 10 articles within the last year or so. And interestingly, I saw a few TikToks of people spilling the beans about this too. So I don't know if they just don't care that people say it anymore, but it's like there's been so many TikTokers that just made these videos recently. It's like how I got verified, and then they're like, all you gotta do is have 6 articles about you or 10 articles, and then you just submit it, and it's not completely unknown. You can actually do this yourself. You can go to the Instagram settings page on your profile, and then you can scroll down to under the account and request a verification badge. Same thing on Facebook. There's a link that if you Google it, you'll find it. It says request profile verification, and you're allowed to say why
Mm.
you think you deserve to do that. A lot of clients have been unable to do it themselves, and a lot of people don't even know that they need a lot of press.
Mm,
So we look at it more of a branding perspective, and I don't say that it's a verification service because that's technically against the TOS.
mm,
It's really more of a how do we prepare you to do it
mm. Okay.
so that you have a high chance of getting in.
So, you mentioned having a lot of press and having a lot of articles
Hmm.
ahead of time in order to get verified. If someone
Yeah.
doesn't have that, what are some of the things they can do? Because articles are we're looking at like NBC, CNN type articles, Wall Street Journal. If there's nobody, how does someone get into submitting all those articles in order to get verified?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And that's the $1 million question, I think, because, a lot of people would love to know that, including myself. Because it really is it's really about having good relationships with journalists.
Mm,
If you don't already have that, then that's why you would hire somebody with a good PR firm, or somebody like me that has some relationships with people that we can pitch for the clients
mm,
on their behalf, and give them the right media angle to make sure that they have a high chance of having themselves featured. It's not enough to just say, I'm the top so and so in my industry, or I'm the best doctor in the world. I mean, nobody's going to care, to be frank.
mhm,
The journalists have no care for for whatever you say you are.
yeah,
So it's really about understanding your angle and how you fit into the existing media
mm,
landscape of what's relevant right now. What are people dying to write articles about? What's trending? What's controversial even? And how can they put their perspective or their expertise into that conversation, whether it's a national or a local level? It doesn't really matter. It really matters that they can get into a journalist's mind and see how they're a valuable prospect for a quote in an article, or even better, a feature. So if you're looking for something like a national level publication like Wall Street Journal, I mean, it's tough. It requires a lot of pitching every single day to know what articles are probably being written, what editors are looking for, and maybe looking down different news wires and things like that to see what journalists are requesting, maybe even on a local level, because oftentimes local news outlets will be syndicated into bigger ones, obviously, because they're like an NBC affiliate or whatever it is. And then those companies are owned by other companies, and you kind of know how it goes. It kind of goes up the chain, and then
mhm.
you have a good chance of being on a big publication. So that's really the way to do it. It has to be organic, and it has to be a strategy that you go and attack every single day. Just always pitch yourself and not be afraid to do it.
So, it sounds like once you do you submit it. Is it? Can you speculate, or or if on Facebook or Twitters or Instagrams, and is that a manual process for them for verification?
Yeah, it is a manual process. As far as I know, they probably Google you, and they look at your Google search results. They see what comes up about this person. If they see news articles about you, that's obviously a really good indicator, and they probably count how many articles they see that mention you from unique angles or unique stories. Um, and I do think that they value features more than mentions, and the difference between the two are a feature is like a whole an interview, really,
Mm-hmm,
kind of.
mm-hmm,
It's like an editorial of
mm-hmm,
you. So it's like, meet Dan of such and such, law firm or whatever it is, and
mm-hmm.
and this is what he does, and it's just an article all about you. Or it's a gossip article, or it's a controversial article. It's like, did you know that Dan did this and this, and then it's like, but and it
Allegedly,
yeah, allegedly he
allegedly.
did this and that. Yeah, he's an attorney. Don't say that. You got that, journalist. You can't just make these accusations like that. But it's sensational journalism nowadays, so
Right,
of course they're going to clickbait it. It's not,
right.
and they're going to say stuff like that. um and that actually looks good for you. It may seem like a bad thing, but any press is actually good press,
Yeah.
and that's
Mm.
the thing they teach you in business school, right? All press is good, whether it's bad or good or neutral. It builds up your credibility, and it shows that somebody is willing to talk about you, whether it's true or not. So I think that's what they're looking for, is who's saying it and
Mm-hmm.
what and why are they saying it. So obviously the national news publications are going to have a lot of weight in
Mm-hmm.
that deciding factor. If you're on NBC News for being viral, or you're on Bloomberg for some reason, then yeah, they're going to take that very seriously.
You mentioned, you can't put yourself out as a verification service, and you're helping people uh, get ready for the verification process. I
Yeah.
kind of think of it as like maybe you're like the SAT tutor, right? You can't get them into college, right?
Yeah.
But you are helping them get ready for the SAT that helps them get into college.
I've never heard that, but that's actually really genius. That's a really good way to think about it. Is yeah, so SAT tutors or college campus tutor, counselors, if you will, or the admission counselors at the actual colleges, they can't ever guarantee you that. They can't say like, oh yeah, I'll pull a little favor for you at the dean and I'll get you in. They can't do that. But they can prepare you and they can give you some tips that they know that are proven or highly likely to get you into that college or into the thing that you want to do. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a
And
good way to
so,
think.
and on average, throughout the ones that you've helped with, what's kind of how long does it take for someone to get verified in your experience?
If they have everything
Mm-hmm.
that is required, like the prerequisite, which is all the articles and things like that, and they've obviously have social media accounts, I hope, then it usually takes about 14 business days to a month, depends
Mm-hmm.
on the
Mm-hmm.
person, and depends how hard it is to determine their noteworthiness. And how they determine that, I have no idea. But usually we'd say within 14 days.
Yeah. So as we kind of end our time here, what are some other cool things about verification that maybe the normal person might not know about and they could take advantage of once they have it?
Hmm. I think it's really the credibility and the analytics that you may have a boost in. I can't say for sure, but people say again that having verified profiles allow you to get a little bit better reach, and maybe it's because people see you more in the search results
Mm,
or in the recommended people to follow. I know in Instagram, many people have probably seen this feature where it says similar accounts. Like after
mm,
you follow somebody, it'll recommend other people you can follow. It obviously favors people that they verified that show up in that list of people. Um, and if they are trying to get on TikTok, which they should, because TikTok is a wonderful platform right now to grow, allegedly, if you have an Instagram verified profile and you connect it to your TikTok, that will almost automatically guarantee you a verified TikTok profile, which looks really good because the amount of verified users on TikTok right now is very low in
mm,
comparison to the amount of actual users on the platform, especially because most of them are going to be teenagers and younger
yeah,
adults that they wouldn't be verified for any reason really.
right.
And so when they see that with somebody that has a check mark on there, who knows what the perceived advantage is. It's hard to say what a tangible kind of ROI, if you will, is by
Mhm,
having it, but I think it's really credibility and standing out. And at the end of the day, like Gary Vee says, branding is everything.
mm,
If you don't have your brand, then you don't have anything. People will buy things based off credibility, based off of perceived branding or what it is that you offer. And I think that's just one piece of a very complex puzzle
mhm.
of determining how people see you and what kind of credibility they see without ever talking to you.
Yeah, you mentioned, you quoted Gary Vee and the power of a
Yeah.
brand. And I think, you made me think about like Costco, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people go by Costco for like from vacations to
Right.
food. And it's like they may not necessarily um, buy it just because it's there. It's actually because Costco is backing it and they know
Yes.
like, right? They said, hey, I'm willing to pay a little bit more or even a lot more um, than from another store or another place because I know Costco will stand behind their product.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% right. That's a really good way to think about it
Yeah.
is, yeah, Costco is a place where it's like an open market. You just go in there and you don't even know what you're going to buy sometimes, right? You just kind of
Yeah.
go in and you're like, what's this burrito thing? I've never
Yeah.
seen this brand before, but they have a 55 pack of burritos, for like $5. I don't know how they can even sell it for that price, but hey, I'm gonna buy 55 burritos of this brand that I've never heard of. And you do,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you know that if Costco has it, it's probably damn good. And
Yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
enough for them because they do have a very strict vetting process for their
Mhm.
vendors of what they're going to show, because they have to guarantee that they sell all their inventory because they don't pay for any inventory up front.
Right.
That's the
Right.
credibility that they have as a brand, that they can literally get any vendor to beg to be inside of their membership circle and sell their product for free. Basically, they're
Right.
paying Costco to be in there,
Hmm.
and so the members are like, yeah, this must be good, and like
Yeah.
99% of the time, it's good.
Yeah. All right. So we're near the end here, and I've got a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Yeah.
And so just answer the first thing that pops into your head. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So who do you look up to?
Gary V, for
Maybe.
sure.
All right. What's the best business book you've ever read?
Oh man, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Okay. If you can do one thing over again, what would it be?
One thing over again, what would it be? Man, I think start a YouTube channel in 2010.
All right. And then what's the biggest challenge in your business right now?
Biggest challenge right now, getting more leads, qualified leads. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thank you again, Freya Fox, for joining me. It's been awesome learning more about verification and what it can do for business owners. Thanks again for your
Yes.
time. And
Thank you so much for having
yeah,
me.
if we want to learn more about you and what you can do for us, where should we go?
You can visit my website at freyafox.gg. That's FREYA fox.gg. Or you can find me on social media at Freya Fox TV. DM me. I'm always on. So
All right. And which platforms are you verified on again? So we know it's you.
Spotify, on Google. If you Google me, you'll see I have a verified mark when I post stuff inside of Google,
Uh-huh.
and should be Apple Music.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, thanks
Yeah.
again for sharing with us. And hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have
All
a good
right.
day.
You too.